Subhas Chandra Bose, a towering personality of India's freedom struggle whose life epitomized courage, discipline, and uncompromising patriotism. On this solemn and inspiring occasion, we are privileged to have with us historian Dr. Susmita Banerjee, Assistant Professor of History and Indian Knowledge Systems at the Assam Royal Global University, Guwahati. A gold medalist in history, Dr. Banerjee completed her PhD from Tripura University. She has presented and published her research at various national and international platforms. Alongside her academic excellence, she has also worked as a journalist and senior news anchor and currently serves as a commentator for Doordarshan Tripura. Her scholarly insights will certainly help us understand Netaji, a living inspiration whose ideas continue to guide the conscience of the nation. Before we invite her to enlighten us, may I respectfully request our Honorable Director, Sir, to kindly felicitate Dr. Banerjee. Thank you. I now humbly request our respected Director, Sir, to address the gathering.
So students, very good morning. And I have already spoken to this assembly about the importance of 23rd January. And I'm sure most of you may not be aware of this 23rd, because immediately after 23rd is 26th. So you're all focused on 26th. So hardly it is celebrated. And it was not given as a holiday. Right? Then people will know, okay, Netaji Subhas Chandra was there. So I'm grateful to Professor Banerjee for accepting our invitation and interacting with you. And it will be very helpful for you, because she will take you very deep to the work of Netaji Subhas Chandra Bose and his role of Indian freedom struggle. Morning I was talking to you about IN, I was talking to you about Moregaon, and I think she will take you deep to that, and you will understand that how important role is. So I invite Professor Banerjee to interact with the students. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for inspiring words. Dear all, the moment we all have been waiting for. It is now time to hear from Dr. Susmita Banerjee. I respectfully request ma'am to kindly enlighten our students with your thoughts and reflections on the life and ideals of Netaji Subhas Chandra Bose. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, now we're feeling. I can see that people from behind are saying, good morning. All are awake? Fine? Good? So this is not only going to be a, kind of one-to-one lecture and something. We have to interact. Okay? All of us, we will try to interact. Now, you can see what I have written here. Netaji Subhas Chandra Bose, the rebel who redefined patriotism, right? Let us have some question answer session. What is patriotism for you? Who can tell me? I can see some bright faces. what is patriotism? Huh? Senior kids? Love and respect for the country. Anything else, anyone? Anything else? Yes, tell me, it's okay. Someone who can sacrifice themselves. Someone else also raise their hand, anyone? Okay. Fine. So, one said love and, so basically it is like love and sacrifice for your country. So, Netaji, why he is called as Netaji, can anyone tell? How many of you know about Subhas Chandra Bose? Can anyone tell a popular line? All the lines that had been said by Netaji, any popular line by him? Yeah, tell. Very nice. Then anyone? Yeah. Exactly. This is the real one, right? Okay. So, give me blood, I will give you freedom. You are from which class? All of you guys? 9. Okay. 11. Okay. And behind? 11. All of you are from 11. 9 to 11, right? Okay, fine. So I think you have heard about Subhas Chandra Bose, all of you, right? Okay. Now, here, tomorrow it will be 129th birthday of Netaji Subhas Chandra Bose. Now, can anyone tell me that what was the name of Subhas Chandra's father? Where he was born or something? Anyone? History major students from 11? Anyone from history? Okay, it's fine. You don't have to know everything in your life, okay? Life is big and full of fights. It's okay. So, Subhas Chandra Bose, he was born at Cuttack. Cuttack you have heard, right? Cuttack, Odisha. So, Cuttack was then under Bengal presidency, ruled by the Britishers. His father was Janakinath Bose and mother was Prabhavati Devi. Now, the irony was, this his father Janakinath Bose was a very loyal lawyer. He was a government employed lawyer under British rule. And he was also given Rai Bahadur Award for his loyalty towards Britishers. But then his son, his youngest son, Subhash, he was against the British rule. When we say patriotism, you say another kind of meaning. Sometimes it had said by some of the historians, though it is not beyond debate, that sometimes patriotism before the nationalist leaders like Subhas Chandra Bose or before the 1907, the Surat Congress division had happened where we get the extremist and the non-extremist section of the Congress. So before that, the idea of patriotism was only about the prayer and petition, showing loyalty towards the Britishers and so on. Or before that, showing loyalty towards the kings, those who used to rule, etc. So it is always been believed that India, it is a flow of, it's a continuation of being ruled by different people. So we have this idea, or we have this thing of being loyal to the rulers every time. However, when Netaji Subhas Chandra Bose or leaders like him came after in 1907, a new dimension of patriotism, a new dimension of nationalism came up. And that is what we are going to speak here. Netaji, when he was a student, he was Subhash basically, he used to, he was a student of Presidency College, now Presidency University in Kolkata. So his rebellious attitude, before talking about the rebellious attitude, Can anyone tell me what is revolution or what is being rebel for you all? You are all youngsters. बात में बोलते होगे ना, you people say कि I am a rebel, I want to be a rebel here. What is rebellion for you? What is revolution? Who is a rebel? Who is a rebel? How can you be a rebel? Yeah.
Opposing the status quo.
Opposing the status quo. Status quo means the societal status quo. Okay? Anyone else? Yeah.
To revolt something.
To revolt something about what?
Something you don't agree with.
Agree with. Okay. Fine. Anyone else? Yeah.
To take a stand for something that is not commonly accepted.
Right? Stand against injustice. Right? Anyone else? Okay. So, being a rebel, first of all, you must have an anger issue. Anger issue, not against everything, but against the injustice, against the wrong. If you don't have that anger, you don't have that courage to stand against. Netaji or Subhas was a student in Presidency University. Let me tell you a story. So he was, I'm telling Presidency University because it's now a university, but it was a college then, Presidency College. And Subhas, as a rebel, as his idea of patriotism, and as a rebel, his genesis was in the classroom, not into any battlefield. So, in Presidency College, at that time, there were many British teachers, okay? So, as we all know that Britishers were oppressors that time, and a civil service exam was not education, higher education, in higher education also, not every time they wanted Indian students to be there. So there was always a racism, there is always a downgrading of Indian students, etc. So there was one professor whose name was E.F. Otten. What he did, one day he was, talking he was passing racist remarks, basically, passing racist remarks on Indian students. That, you don't deserve to be teach here, you don't deserve to become here, it is our, a big heart that we are giving you place here to study and all. Netaji, that means Subhas, he could not take it. And he suddenly slapped him. He slapped his professor. Now when I'm telling this, do you think, how many of you think that he did right? 1, 2. Okay. Some of you are saying that, most of you are saying he did right. Okay? Why did he do the right, do you think? Why was it right? Slapping a teacher is good? No, right? Then? He slapped because it was against his motherland. It was against the dignity of his motherland. It was against the dignity of his race, of his people, and it's against the dignity of his own. Right? And biggest thing is that racism, even now, is also a big injustice and wronged. Anywhere it is, whoever it is. You can't be a racist. It is a bully, right? Staying at your country, if someone bullying your motherland, you can't take it. So this was an injustice which enraged him, and he protested against it like this. It's a matter of debate if it is right or it is wrong, but it also a new way of defining the patriotism. When he was asked, he was then rusticated and all, but when he was asked, he said, it was about the dignity of my motherland, so I have to do it. So for him, his motherland comes before everything. And when you are keeping your motherland before everything, then you are a patriot. Okay? So here, from his studenthood, he started to redefine patriotism. So you have to understand, you be a rebel, you may be a rebel, but being a rebel also, you have to understand what is right and what is wrong. And always remember, revolution comes from library. Revolution comes from a book. Before being a rebel, you have to understand what are the right and what are the wrong, what can be a rebel done and what can't a rebel, do. So you have to understand that, and then you can go for redefining your patriotism, redefining your rebellion, redefining your revolution. And thus, from his classrooms, Netaji started to redefine his patriotism. So self-respect was very important for him. Next, let me give you a situation. How many of you want to go to administrative services? Like IAS officer, ACS officer or something? Any of you? Some of you? Okay, very nice. Now tell me, if you got it, okay, you got the service, fine. After getting it, suddenly one day you are being, you see that all the injustice has been done, these are all wrong, the way the things are being done is misleading your self-respect or misleading your country. What will you do? Or if you think that, no, this is not my job to do, I have to do something for my country, something more for my country, what will you do? Anyone? What will you do? Yes.
If that particular post is stopping me from working for my country, I'll give it up.
Right. Sure. Very good. Give a round of applause for her. See, she has said a very good thing. If that particular job is stopping her from doing something good for her country or her state, she will give it up. And Netaji did the same. He ranked a good position in his ICS exam, Indian Civil Service exam at that time. And he studied. He went to England, he cleared, he had studied his whole life for this Indian Civil Service exam, but then he understood that if he, confined into that job, into that work, that is not going to work for him. That is not going to work for betterment of his country. So without thinking anything, he left that job. That was a huge, prestigious job. It was you can't even imagine at that time Indian Civil Service exam, what was that? So, in 1921, he resigned and he, come back to India because he do not want to enslave his country. He said that if I am there, I have to be a part of the same thing which is enslaving my country. And you can say that this resignation may be emotional because he had assumed that he can't work for his country and he got emotional and then he had left. No, but if you think, it is also a philosophical way of thinking about his country. That if he is not a part of the system which is enslaving his country, he can do better for his country. So thus, by giving up, as someone was telling, patriotism is all about sacrifice, right? So this is also a redefining your patriotism. Before that, as I told you, it was not the way. It was not the way. It was prayer, petition, loyalty, showing loyalty towards the, the authority. But then, sacrifice. First of all, you have seen dignity. Secondly, sacrifice. Thus, Netaji, he had redefined the patriotism. He had included sacrifice into the idea of patriotism in our country or for the people of our country. Clear for everyone? Any question? Anything to be clarified? No? Let us move to the next then. Next, we are having Netaji as a ideological revolutionary. Okay? So first what we said, it is all about prayer petition, it all about the, the pleasing the authority and all. So while pleasing come, you can't have any ideology. Does anyone here any kind of ideology? Any ideology that, like leave, let's leave, or maybe my life, my rules kind of ideology. Do you understand what ideology is? Ideology is something on which, you bring up your moral. You think that how you will work in your life. What should be the right way of your life, what you should do and what you should not do. Okay, so Netaji, he was, a very, he was very fond of Gandhi's idea. All of us know Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, right? So Netaji was very fond of Gandhi. Even Gandhi used to love Netaji a lot. So we are calling him Netaji again and again. I must tell you why he is known as Netaji. Does anyone know? Tagore give. And then again, Netaji. So there are some new theories are also coming on this Netaji thing. It had come that when he was in Germany, and and then he came to Japan and all, and he bring out all those people from Japan jail, and he made INA. They first called him Netaji, and Netaji, because he was the Neta, and those people are mostly from the North Indian belt side, and they started to call him Netaji. INA was formed. Then this Netaji thing started to become much more popular. Then Tagore used this Netaji, but it's now again said that Sarojini Naidu was the one who started to call him Netaji extensively everywhere, and thus she has popularized him as Netaji. But okay, it's not beyond debate. There are so many things about this. So that's how Netaji became Netaji. Netaji means a leader. हम बोलते हैं ना नेताजी, तो वही है. So that's how he became Netaji. Now he was very fond of Mahatma Gandhi, as I told you, Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi's, and Gandhi was also very fond of him. But then again, the ideological clash. So ideological clash happened, and Netaji, he left this Congress. So what happened basically, Congress had their own Congress, and then they select their president every year. So Netaji won twice. But the second time, as Netaji basically a nationalist, he was a little bit extremist, but as we all know, Gandhi was a non-violent supporter and not non-extremist section. Congress was also full of non-extremist leaders, but Subhas, somehow he could not believe it, and he tried to amalgamate some of the qualities of the extremist section in Congress. But Gandhi was very rigid. He never compromised, he never wanted to compromise with the ideology of Congress or with his ideology, because his ideology used to, Congress was run by his ideology only. So he never wanted to compromise that. So when in the second session of Congress, secondly Netaji was selected as the president, Gandhi said that it is his own personal loss. And then Subhas, he left Congress and he said, okay, this is not the right thing, and this is not the right way to express my ideology, because I can't compromise myself or my dignity or my ideology for something else. Please wake him up. Wake him up. मुंह खोल के सो रहा है पूरा. It's okay, it's okay. Fine, it's okay. So, yeah. So then, hey, it's all fine, guys. I'm not that much ki मैं एकदम चौक से मारूंगी तुम लोगों को. It's fine. My students also do this in classroom, Then I also wake them up. I go and I call them and I wake them up. It's okay. So, वो तुम तो फिर भी बच्चे हो, मेरे बच्चे तो बहुत बड़े बच्चे हैं. Still they sleep. So, okay. Now, however, now here is a very important point. The important point is, sometimes we think that ideological difference is a disagreement. And disagreement means disloyalty. But it is not. Okay? You sometimes may not go by your own parents' ideology. Right? But that doesn't mean that you are disloyal towards your parent. Me and my father, we fight like cats and dogs for these ideological issues sometimes. Okay? Maybe he doesn't believe into some gender roles, I believe into that gender role, and we fight for that. But that doesn't mean that I am going against my father or I am disloyal to my father. Just like that, any authority, anywhere in this world, if that authority is not right, you have all potential and you have all right to question that authority and show that you are disagreed against that authority because of these issues. And Netaji had given this dimension into patriotism again. That question, be disagreed, have fight, have disagreements, be disloyal, but when you are doing it, you are not being disloyal. So these are some other ideas that he had been incorporated in patriotism. Okay? Because he said patriotism allows plurality. And when we are saying plurality, it is dual ideas. If you are believing in A, I can believe in B or I can believe in C. And I can also have a fight with you that why I can't believe into A and I have to believe into C. But I am telling you, you must know why you are believing into A, B or C. You can believe into anything, but if I ask you why you are believing into that, you have to answer me why you are believing into that. You have to be very clear that this is the reason I am believing into that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are the 5 points I am believing. So sometimes when my students, in my classroom, when I say, see, I believe into this political ideology, I don't believe into this political ideology, then some of my students, they come to, altercate with me because I like this kind of agreements and disagreements. In the class, we debate. So my students, when they said, ma'am, I don't believe into this ideology, that why you are saying the socialist idea, or maybe the Marxist idea, or maybe the nationalist idea. So then I asked them, okay, fine, you don't believe me? I can give you 5 points that why I believe this ideology. You give me 5 points that why you don't believe in this ideology or you believe your ideology. If they can give me 5 points, I am satisfied. If they can't, they do not know why they believe into that ideology. So you must know at least 5 points that why you are being disagreed to any of the ideology. Right? So from now, whatever you believe, if you are arguing with anyone, you must know on what you are arguing. And a very important thing I also want to share with you, one of my professor once told me that if you do not believe or do not like anyone, you have to study that person or that thing more to go against that. Okay? Maybe you do not believe into any personality, you don't like any personality. How can you debate without knowing that person? Right? So that's why you have to study that person. Very important. So this idea of being plural, of being disagreed in patriotism, you can be a patriot if you are arguing against the authority because you know what is right and what is wrong. Okay? So plurality is a part of patriotism which had been incorporated by Netaji in our idea of patriotism. Fine? Any question, anyone? Okay. Let us go to the next. Now, after incorporating all these ideas of patriotism, he found out one fine morning that fine, this is not going to work for me. I have to do something by my own. I can't do this. But by that time, Britishers were very much petrified. They were petrified of Netaji and they said that isko to we have to keep inside the doors. So what they did, they said Netaji Subhas ko hum बंद कर देंगे घर के अंदर. But he was a very, his father, as I said, his father was a very big shot and everything. He could not be kept into jail. So what they did, ठीक है घर में बंद करेंगे. इसको हम बंगाली में we said घरबंदी, घर में बंद करके रखना. So they said okay fine, we will do that. He had he had his brother Shauruk Boshu was his elder brother. Shauruk Boshu was also a revolutionary. So Shauruk Boshu and Subhas Boshu, they conspired that Subhas said, Dada, I have to go from here and whatever is happening at that time, Second World War already started. So he said, Dada, what I have to do, I can't stay here. I have to go outside of India and then have to do something. And in Second World War, India was supporting British and British was against Germany, right? So he said, I will meet Hitler. I will meet Hitler and I will try to, talk to him to have this, I will talk to the Allied power, okay? So, and it was a big deal, big deal. From Kolkata to going to Germany, it was a big deal. People would have died. So he said, so one day what he did, he wore a dress of a Jajabur, if I'm not wrong, this salesman, that time Kabuliwala. So Kabuliwala, that time Afghani Kabuliwalas used to come. Like Afghani people with that long kurtas and turbans, they used to come. They used to borrow money and all. So Kabuliwala, he adorned as a Kabuliwala and he ran away. And there were two British soldiers, they could not even recognize him. Then Shauruk Boshu, he met Shauruk Boshu and it was a big way of going. Like there is a book written by Shauruk Boshu that how he had left this whole journey he had written. He went to northwest frontier at that time, Afghanistan. There, Bhagat Singh's cousin, he helped him basically to run away ultimately, lastly. Then he crossed Afghanistan and then he took the submarine and then he went to Germany. So these are, so this is also, this as you were talking about this, sacrifice. You can't do that sacrifice, I can't do that sacrifice any day. I would say that, okay fine, I would stay inside home and I will be very fine. In the coziness, in the luxury of my own home. Is there anyone who wants to be a politician? Okay, very nice. One, what is your name?
Anaika.
Anaika wants to be a politician. Very good. So being politician doesn't mean that you want to just, extort people money and make a building. What do you want to do?
There are like certain things
Yeah.
I don't like about my country,
Okay.
like the neglect and I would say looking over certain things. So if I do become politician, I would like to change that.
Very nice. So you must know that what you want to change, and Anaika, you know. Sit down, beta. So you know all this thing, and it's good. Also incorporate some more things. There are so many things that should be changed in your country. Don't use the line that I don't like about my country. You just said I want to change in my country. Okay? Because ultimately it's our motherland, right? We can't say that we don't like this for our mother. No, I can say that I can change something into my mother. So but that's right. That's a good thing we're doing. Okay? So yeah. So this is the I was talking about, yeah. So he left. And then he met Hitler and all this thing. Then he went to Japan. Hitler said he can't help. Hitler was into his another mission. So he said, okay, fine. Then he went to Japan. He met Tojo there. So Tojo said, okay, fine. See, in Japan, there are some people who were fighting against Japan and they are Indians. I kept them. And Raj Bihari, there is a person called Raj Bihari Bose. He knows them. He knows them and they are kept. You talk to Raj Bihari. You go and talk to him. So then Subhas he was in cloud nine. He said, okay, Raj Bihari Bose is here, I am going. And it's a very interesting thing, you people see Japanese enemy. Watch, Japanese enemy. तो वहाँ पे बहुत दिखाता है ना curry चावल, curry rice. It was introduced by Raspberry Bose. You know? It was introduced by an Indian. Raspberry Bose had done there. Okay. So this curry chawal was basically found by an Indian. So, yeah. So that Ghibli art and everything you see, this curry and rice, it's an Indian thing, right? Actually. Okay. So, Rajbihari Bose said that, see, Subhas, there are some people, they are the warriors only. They are in Japan jail. I will be bringing them out somehow, and then we will do something. That's how. And that time, it was the INA. It was not as INA. It was an organized forum. But then, when they came out, the INA was started to form, and thus he. Do you know anything? Do you know what is the full form of INA? Anyone? Indian National Army. Very good. So they said they had some. They started with some symbolical resistance, and they institutionalized the rebellion. The rebellion we are talking about. Rebellion is going against the injustice of authority or unjust authority. Okay? So sometimes we do not understand. Can you may not know? So there was the last rebellion, the last revolution that happened in India, which made Britishers to leave, was not Quit India movement, but the revolution by the Navy that happened in India, and it was basically inspired by Indian National Army. So there are 3 people who were caught by the Britishers. I Singh, Sehgal, and someone else, Khan maybe, you know, yeah. So 3 of them were caught, and it was said by the British court that they would be hanged. And there was a huge protest against it, that Britishers were petrified. And when the whole Navy was controlled by Indians. And whole Navy, they said, we are not going to support. And as the Navy backed up, ground soldiers, what did I say? This, you know, the ground. There's a term for this ground thing. I can't recall. However, the army, the British army, they also moved back. They said, we are also not going to help. So you know everything. Like when the military, they go against any authority, the government is down. It's khatam. It's finished. So that was the real deal that happened for the freedom of India. INA was the part. INA actually influenced them to do that. So this is how the institutionalization of rebellion, while non-violence was going in India at that time, another Indian organization at that time institutionalizing rebellion. Two dynamics were going together at that time. Okay, and ultimately, as we all know, that he came until Imphal. He raised the Indian flag, but then, very unfortunately, Germany and Japan, they lost the war. Japan was, supplying food to INA and the whole INA organization, and at that time they stopped doing that. Subhas tried to go to Japan, and by that time he had a plane crash. There is, it's a common verdict that he died in the plane crash. But though debates are going on now, there is one Bengali person, I again forget his name. He is fighting over that, and there's a movie also, Gumnami Baba, named that where he had said that Netaji basically he became a monk afterwards. He tried to fight while being the monk, but at that time India being independent, India was partitioned, and it was a heartbreak for him, and he could not, he didn't want to come in front anymore, and he died like that. However, so INA was also an idea of patriotism. How? Because INA had shown how rebellion, being a rebellion also, you can be a patriot for your country. Okay? That how, with your own flag, Britishers, they had their own Union Jack, they were using their Union Jack for India. INA was the first who introduced a flag for India. Okay? And they, and also they said, it is said that INA, they not only worked on emotion, but also, do you have time? I'm speaking and speaking. Let me just know, huh? Because if I start speaking, I can continue for whole day. They will sleep again. So, however, so INA had given the idea of patriotism as structured, discipline, and also about the order and sacrifice. Okay? One of the most important revolutionary vision that Netaji incorporated into patriotism is the patriotism of women. There is Jhansi Rani Bahini and some other women or wings. There were many women messengers, women soldiers in INA who fought. What is Lakshmi Sehgal, na? Lakshmi Sehgal. So Lakshmi Sehgal, she's still alive, if I'm not wrong. She is an epitome, like living epitome of women patriotism that has been introduced by Subhas Chandra Bose in INA. Okay? I'm not, I'm trying to, is it okay if I try to wrap it up now a little bit? Okay. So, can anyone tell me after listening, I can see these faces, some 3, 4 rows, some faces of you. What do you understand after learning Netaji? After learning that, how he had redefined patriotism, I told you something, right? How the self-dignity, sacrifice, then women patriotism, discipline, he introduced all this patriotism here. So what do you want to say regarding that? Do you think these are the important aspects, perspectives for, real patriotism? Any of you? Yeah, sure, beta.
Shall we give them a mic now? If INA did not play any role in India getting independence, then how do you think India would have been different today?
Good question. Your question actually made me to think. INA, see, in the independence of India, INA's contribution is a very recent phenomenon. Okay? Like neo-historians, those who are not looking, see, okay, let me start from the very basic. In history, what the historiography, what we said, when you go to college, if you take history as your main subject, you would understand what historiography is, the way of writing history. So in historiography, mostly we have seen the idea of nationalist historians, okay, where it has been written mostly about the non-violence of Gandhi, non-extremism, how with prayer and petition we had gained our independence. So we neo-historians, we are trying to bring out the idea of rebellion, how rebellion also changed the patriotism, the idea of independence in India. So mostly if we see, we would see that Quit India movement had been told the ultimate idea of gaining independence, and that cabinet mission, Mountbatten plan, and how Jawaharlal Nehru had talked with Mountbatten, then Direct Action Day, Jinnah, they said how the partition will happen. But I think you are asking that if INA would not have helped, right? Hypothetically. We don't have to be hypothetical, beta. We can see, as INA's influence had not been taken, the partition had happened, right? The drastic partition, the brutal partition. People suffered like anything. Even now people are also suffering, right? In West Bengal, they are having this SIR. People had to run their home and had to prove that yes, we are Indian, please let us stay in India. CAA, these are happening. This is all about because INA's influence had not been taken. That's why Netaji, he did not come back. He would have been alive at that time after the crash also. He never wanted an India like that. So that is the influence. It is in front of our eyes only. The partition is in front of our eyes. So, yeah.
As you have said, so if INA did play a role, did have an influence over the partition, do you think that Subhash
so Gandhi's word also had not been taken, right? Because Gandhi was so Gandhi was a very, kind of a pooky lady. He used to like always, I would not eat anything if I will go in a hunger strike. So Jinnah said, okay, fine, don't eat. So he went and he said, okay, let it be. So Gandhi's word had not been taken. See, this is a bigger issue. This is a bigger issue. It's not very simple that his words and that word and this thing. Because until the cabinet mission in 1946 also, they said that we are not listening to your words. Jinnah's word had not been taken seriously. But then, when the direct action day had happened, Jinnah had called for direct action day, and there was a brutal, brutal riot. Hindu-Muslim riot happened. And riot is a very, I should not discuss this with students, actually, school students. There is so much politics into this. When you will go to college, you will understand. When you read more, you would understand. If I start discussing here, it will take 2 hours for me, discuss everything to come again to you, and it would, it would give you take you in a trance, that you would be in trance that what is happening actually. So it's a big thing, big thing. We can't just conclude it in a one line that if Jinnah's word had been taken more than Netaji's word. But who knows, maybe things would have been, different. Maybe direct action day would not have happened. Who knows? Now we can't tell what would have been happened here hypothetically. See, their history becomes subjective. There is objectivity and subjectivity. We discuss, ye agar nahi hota to, wo agar hota to. This is the subjectivity of history. But what objectivity is telling us, that we must go through all the resources that we are having. That we have to critically analyze them. And for critical analysis, we have to sit with the ghost of Subhas then. We have to planch it, call him and asked him what would have done, or maybe Jinnah ka bhoot bulana padega, and would have said if you have listened to him or not. But we don't know, maybe it had been taken care by other way possible, and it would not had been happened. So yeah, that is my stance, okay? And someone else can tell you some other things. But being a historian, I don't want to conclude, because there are so many verdicts of so many things. So I don't believe in concluding anything. So I'm keeping it open so that you can think about. And this is a good question she had asked. That if Subhas' words had been taken, better than Jinnah or over Jinnah, right? So open for you. You think about it. It's a good question. You think about it. You keep keep on hypothesizing this. Okay? Read books. Read more books on Subhas, on Jinnah. Okay? But how things would have been taken. Then one day you may write one good article on that. If you write it, you send me. Give to ma'am. Ma'am will give it to me. Okay? Fine. Okay. So let me coming into the conclusion, the best part of my speech, guys. So the conclusion is that Netaji, Subhas, have you been inspired by him or not? Don't get only inspired by the slapping incident. Other things also get inspired also. About his sacrifice, about his other things and all. और अगर ऐसा है कि कभी कोई मिसहैप घट गया और किसी को थप्पड़ वप्पड़ मार दिया, so it's not my fault, okay? I'm out of it. So it is not like that. Thappad, of course, marna chahiye, but if it is an injustice going on, right? So, so you are being inspired by him. Now you know who Subhas is. Subhas, there are movies on Subhas also. Watch those, Movie is very important. Korean movies are not important, but this kind of historical movies are very important. Now, Korean movies are also important. Good Korean movies are also important. But all, monotonous Korean movies are not important. So, watch good movies. Movies are very important to watch. These are the mirrors of the society, okay? So, Subhas, he had given new ideas to patriotism, as I said. He was a rebel. And being a rebel, he understood that no, that is not the way of patriotism I should have in my country. So he came on the spot, he came on the ground, and he has changed the idea of rebellion. He changed the idea of patriotism in his own country. So if you do not believe any system, and if you feel that this is the unjust system going on, बैठ के बस बातें मत करो, अरे यार ये क्या चल रहा है, क्यों चल रहा है, ऐसे मत बात मत करो. Bring it on, bring on the ground yourself, try to change it because you are youth, and youth are the catalyst of change anything in this world. Okay? Read how French Revolution in France, how students are fighting for their rights. In Bangladesh, how student has changed the government. However, that's a very debatable issue, but again, students were on the ground. So you are youth, you are student, you can change everything. Okay? So be inspired by Subhas. Try to change the patriotism. Remember, questioning authority, sacrificing for your own country, fighting for the dignity of your own country, your own people is never wrong. Subhas said that, and that is patriotism. With that, I'm finishing. Any question, anyone? Thank you. Yeah.
Ma'am,
What's your name?
Rishikesh.
Rishikesh. Tell.
Ma'am, Subhas Chandra Bose is a very rebellious, a very big rebel. So was his death was a planned murder by the other politicians?
It's okay. No, fine.
It can be a
What do you think?
Huh?
What do you think? तुम्हें क्या लगता है?
It might be possible because he was very different from other politicians in that time. He was into unity, more defined unity.
हाँ, सोचना पड़ेगा इसको लेकर. Rishikesh, you picked up a good point. Sit down. See, हाँ मैं उतर रही हूँ. रुको. एक सेकंड, उतर रही हूँ. एक बार इसका थोड़ा जवाब दे दो. So ये है कि Rishikesh, the thing is, anything can happen. There's some, as I told, some of the people, I just can't recall the name of this person who is fighting for this, fighting for establishing this Netaji was not died. Some Bhattacharya or something, I can't recall the name. He's from Calcutta. So he is saying that he has not been died. Actually, he was also telling the same thing you said, that he was conspired to kill, but he somehow survived. And then he had, but that time when he was very sick, he was very ill, he was in a very deteriorating condition. When he was fine to understand what's happening, India was partitioned and India was, democratized or something, and he did not want that kind of India. So he never came out. So what you are saying, it is also a kind of, maybe it can be a side of the story, who knows? Okay? Anyone else? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you don't have a concrete answer, Anything can happen. Politics is something like that. We all know. So Anaya, you be very careful when you're in politics. Anyone else? Okay, chalo. फिर मैं उतरती हूँ. Thank you for your time and patience, guys. किसी को अच्छा नहीं